In the quiet village of Umuaka, a woman cried at the river for 7 years, begging the goddess for just one child. One night, the river answered, and from that moment a daughter was born. A girl so beautiful that even the moonlight paused when she walked. But beauty given by spirits always comes with a price. Ijele was not an ordinary child. She came into the world with time written on her skin. And when the last mark fades, her life will return to the river that sent her. You are watching African Tales by Ijele, where mysteries breathe, spirits speak, and every story carries a warning. The village of Umuaka was small but full of stories. Stories that lived in the wind, stories whispered by old women who sat under the udala tree every evening, stories that warned children never to stay out after moonrise. In the center of this village lived a woman named Mama Ojiugo. She was kind, hard-working, and humble, but life had denied her the one thing her heart prayed for: a child. For 7 long years, Mama Ojiugo fasted, cried, and visited every herbalist she could find. People laughed behind her back. Some said she was cursed. Others said her womb was as dry as the Hamatan wind. At night, she sat by her empty fireplace and whispered, "Chineke, if I have done wrong, forgive me. Give me a child, even if it is only one." But heaven remained silent until the night she went to the river. The river of Umuaka was no ordinary river. Women fetched water in the morning, but no one dared go there after sunset. It was said that the river goddess Mwanyi Mili walked on the water when the moon was bright. Some even claimed to hear her sing, a voice that could pull men into the water forever. But sorrow is stronger than fear. Mama Ojiugo carried her calabash and walked to the river alone. The moon was full. The water was calm, too calm. Even the leaves refused to rustle. She knelt by the river bank and began to cry. "Mother of the waters, hear me. I have no child. My home is empty. My heart is tired. Give me just one child, even if my life is the price." Her tears fell into the river. Suddenly, the wind stopped. The frogs went silent. The river began to glow with a soft blue light. Mama Ojiugo froze. Then she saw her, a beautiful woman rising from the water, her skin shining like fish scales, her eyes bright like stars. The river goddess. "Mortal woman," the goddess said, her voice calm but powerful, "your tears have touched the deep. You want a child, but do you understand the price?" Mama Ojiugo bowed her head. "I understand. I am ready." The goddess raised her hand, and the river formed a small swirling circle of light. "You shall have a daughter, a child of beauty, a child of light, a child the world will never forget." Mama Ojiugo's heart leapt. She burst into tears of joy. But then the goddess continued, "However, listen well. The child is not fully yours. She carries my mark. She carries my time. When her final moon mark fades from her skin, she will return to me." Mama Ojiugo trembled. "Return? Return where?" "To the river," the goddess whispered. "To me." Before Mama Ojiugo could speak again, the goddess touched her forehead. A strong wind blew, the river roared, and everything went dark. The next morning, Mama Ojiugo woke up in her hut, confused, weak, and shaking. Her wrapper was soaked, her hands were wet, and sand clung to her feet. But something else happened. For the first time in 7 years, she felt life move inside her womb. She gasped. She cried. She laughed. She fell to her knees. The river had answered. 9 months later, under a bright moon, a baby girl was born. A girl with smooth, glowing skin. A girl whose eyes sparkled like water under sunlight. A girl whose beauty made the midwives gasp. Mama Ojiugo named her Ijele because she was not an ordinary child. She was a gift from the spirits. But on the baby's shoulder, tiny moon-shaped marks shimmered, faint, soft, and dangerous. Because when the last one fades, the river will come for her. Ijele grew like a flower that refused to hide. From the moment she opened her eyes each morning, the village felt her presence. Children stopped playing to stare. Women paused at the stream and whispered. Even the elders shook their heads and murmured, "Ah, this child is not ordinary." Beauty like this does not come without a story. Mama Ojiugo loved her daughter deeply, but even she knew that Ijele was different. Not because of her beauty alone, but because of the strange things that followed her everywhere. When Ijele turned 3, Mama Ojiugo noticed something strange on her shoulder. The moon-shaped marks the goddess spoke about. They glowed brightly at night, but faded during the day. Some days she had 7 marks, some days 6, some days 5. No one could explain it. One night, Mama Ojiugo counted again and gasped. There were only 4 left. Her hands trembled as she whispered, "Chineke, let her stay with me. Don't take her away." But the river goddess had already spoken. By the time she turned 5, Ijele became the talk of the entire village. Her beauty was not ordinary. It was the kind that made even elders whisper prayers under their breath. Her eyes sparkled like morning dew. Her skin glowed like she bathed in moonlight. Her hair moved even when the wind was still. One afternoon, something happened that confirmed everyone's suspicion. Mama Ojiugo sent her to fetch firewood behind the house. As Ijele walked, a sudden soft wind began to circle her. A wind that did not touch the trees, did not move the bushes, but only followed the little girl. The villagers saw it. They scattered. "Ha! This child is not ordinary. A spirit follows her. Beauty like this is from the river." From that day, people either feared her or worshipped her. Children followed her like she was a princess. Young men avoided her, afraid that loving her meant inviting spirits into their homes. Mama Ojiugo tried to protect her. "Don't walk alone," she warned. "Don't go close to the river," she begged. But the river had its own plan. Every time Ijele passed near the water path, the river would ripple, just as if it was greeting her. And sometimes she would hear a soft, distant voice calling, "My child, come closer." Ijele always ran, but deep inside her heart, the voice sounded familiar, warm, almost like home. One night when she was 7, Ijele woke up screaming. Mama Ojiugo rushed in. "What is it, my daughter? What did you see?" Ijele was shaking. "Mama, I dreamt of a woman made of water. She stood inside the river and stretched her hand to me. She said, 'My time is coming.'" Mama Ojiugo's heart broke. She held her daughter tightly and whispered, "No spirit will take you. You will live. You will stay with me. You are my child." But the moon-shaped marks on Ijele's shoulder were now 3.
Only 3, and Mama Ojiugo remembered the goddess's words, "When the last mark fades, the child will return to me." She cried quietly that night because she did not know how to fight a spirit. By the next village market day, rumors had already spread. Ijele is not human. She will not live long. She belongs to the river. Spirits walk with her. Some mothers pulled their children away when she passed. Some men bowed their heads in fear. Some women whispered, "When her time comes, the river will shake." But one thing was clear. The village loved her beauty, but feared her destiny. And the river goddess watched in silence, because the countdown to Ijele's return was already begun. For years, Ijele lived like a flower watched by every eye, but touched by none. The villagers admired her beauty from afar, yet everyone feared the whispers that followed her. She is the river's child. Her time is short. Whoever loves her may lose his life. So they kept their distance, until Obinna returned to the village. Obinna was the son of a well-known hunter. Tall, calm, and kind-hearted, he had been away at apprenticeship in a nearby town. At 19, he returned home stronger, wiser, and full of dreams. One morning, as he walked through the marketplace, he saw her, Ijele, carrying a small basket of palm nuts, her wrapper tied neatly, her skin glowing softly under the sun. Obinna stopped walking. His heart simply refused to move. He whispered, Who is that?" The woman selling cocoyam beside him clicked her tongue. "That is Ijele, the one the river goddess gave Mama Ojiugo." Obinna frowned. "Giving? How?" She lowered her voice. "She is a child of the spirits. Beautiful, yes, but her life does not belong to this world." Obinna looked again, and in that moment the fear others felt melted inside him, because what he saw was not a river spirit. What he saw was a girl with gentle eyes and a quiet sadness. A sadness he wanted to understand, a sadness he wanted to change. Later that evening, Obinna met her again by chance. She was sitting alone under the udala tree, cleaning cassava peels. Obinna walked toward her slowly, not afraid, not trembling, just curious. "Good evening," he greeted. She looked up, surprised that someone was brave enough to approach her. "Good evening," she replied softly. I have heard your name," Obinna said. "My name is Obinna." She said, "I know. I used to see you before you traveled." Her voice was calm like a flute under the moon. Obinna smiled. "You remember me?" She nodded. "I remember everyone, even those who fear me." Her words broke his heart a little. He sat beside her. "I don't fear you," he said. She looked at him deeply, a long, searching stare, as if trying to see whether he meant it. Then she smiled, a small, shy smile. "Thank you," she whispered. That was how it started. By the next week, the entire village had seen it. Obinna walking with Ijele, Obinna helping her carry firewood, Obinna standing with her at the stream, Obinna making her laugh. The elders frowned, the women whispered, the men shook their heads. One old man even said, "If Obinna is not careful, the river goddess will drag him too."
Mama Ojiugo watched them with mixed feelings. She knew her daughter deserved love, but she also knew the danger that followed her. That night, she sat Ijele down. "My daughter, be careful," she said. Obinna is a good boy, but your life is not simple. Ijele lowered her head. Mama, I didn't ask him to follow me. No man follows a girl without reason, Mama Ojiugo replied softly. Ijele sighed. I know, Mama, but when he walks with me, I don't feel strange. I feel normal, like an ordinary girl. Mama Ojiugo's eyes filled with tears. My child, that is what scares me. The river goddess had been silent for many years. But that silence ended the night Obinna touched Ijele's hand for the first time. They were walking home from the stream when a soft wind rose suddenly. Not the natural type. This one circled only around Ijele, lifting her hair, cooling her skin. Obinna froze. What is happening? He whispered. I don't know, Ijele said, trembling. The wind grew stronger, swirling, turning, pulling. Then they heard it. A voice from the distance, soft, echoing, calling from the direction of the river. My child, do not forget the path of water. Obinna stepped back in fear. Ijele grabbed his hand tightly. The wind stopped. Everything went silent. Obinna stared at her, breathing heavily. What was that? Ijele shook her head, tears filling her eyes. I think the river is angry. Obinna swallowed hard, but he didn't leave her. He didn't run. Instead, he held her hand again and said, I don't care who is angry. I am not afraid of you, Ijele. But far away, the river goddess watched with stony eyes. A mortal boy had touched what belonged to the water, and that meant only one thing. A warning had been given. The next sign would be stronger. Days passed and the village of Umuaka could no longer pretend they didn't see it. Obinna and Ijele were becoming inseparable. They walked to the stream together. They sat under the udala tree together. Sometimes, Obinna collected firewood and left it secretly at Mama Ojiugo's doorstep. But love that grows under the eyes of spirits does not grow quietly, and soon the river goddess began to show her displeasure. One morning, Obinna brought something for Ijele, a beautiful handmade necklace made of red and white beads. I made this for you, he said shyly. It reminds me of the colors you like. Ijele touched it gently. It's beautiful, she whispered, but I don't know if I should wear. Before she could finish, Obinna tied the necklace around her neck. For a moment, everything was peaceful.
Then the wind rose suddenly. The sky darkened. The leaves shook as if afraid. And the necklace snapped, the beads scattering violently across the ground. Obinna jumped back. What just happened? Ijele stepped away, breathing hard. Her pulse raced like a drum. Then she heard it. A soft, angry whisper carried by the wind. She is not for the world of men. Obinna heard it too. He turned slowly to her. That voice, I heard it. Ijele's eyes filled with tears. That is why I told you to stay away. You don't understand. I am not normal. I don't know how long I will live. I don't know what they want from me. But Obinna stepped closer. You are human. You laugh. You cry. You feel pain. Spirits may claim you, but Ijele, you belong here too. His words made her heart swell with hope. A dangerous hope, because the river was watching, and it was not pleased. The whispers in the village grew louder.
Ijele is changing. The spirits are angry. Obinna is risking his life. The village elders called a meeting. They sent for Mama Ojiugo, Obinna's father, and the village chief. The chief cleared his throat. We have seen the signs. This girl is not like others. If she forms strong bonds with the living, the spirits may punish the whole village. Mama Ojiugo's eyes filled with pain. What should I do? She whispered. An elder replied, Warn your daughter. If she continues with this boy, we fear the river goddess will strike. Obinna's father stood up angrily. My son will not be controlled by fear. He loves her. Is love now a crime in this village? But the lead elder slammed his staff on the ground. This is not ordinary love. This is desire fighting with destiny. This is a mortal touching a spirit's child, and the spirit is already warning us. Silence fell. The chief turned to Mama Ojiugo and said, If the boy refuses to leave her, the river may take him instead, and his blood will be on your daughter's destiny. Mama Ojiugo trembled. She knew what fear felt like. She had lived with it since the day her daughter was born.
That night, she waited for Ijele to return from the stream. When the girl stepped into the compound, Mama Ojiugo held her tightly. My daughter, please, leave Obinna alone. Ijele froze. Mama, why? Tears streamed down Mama Ojiugo's cheeks. You think the river will take only you? No, it will take anyone who stands in its way. I cannot lose you, but I cannot lose someone else's child because of you. Ijele sat on the ground slowly. Mama, I didn't ask for this life. I didn't ask to be born from the river. I didn't ask for a curse. I didn't ask for beauty. I just want to live like others. Mama Ojiugo cried quietly, her voice breaking. I know, my child, but spirits do not care about what mortals want. That night, the river stirred. The moonlight touched its surface with a silver glow. The water rose slightly, and from it, a tall figure emerged, the river goddess. Her eyes shone with power and jealousy. She is forgetting her path, the goddess murmured. The boy is making her dream of a life that is not hers. The river rippled violently around her ankles. If she continues like this, her fate will change, and the balance between our worlds will break. She raised her hand. A single drop of glowing water formed in her palm. When the last moon mark fades, she will return. But if the boy interferes, I will take him first. The wind carried her words across the village like a warning. Inside her hut, Ijele could not sleep. She sat awake, touching the 3 pale moon marks on her shoulder. She whispered to herself, what if I am not meant to love? What if loving Obinna will destroy him? What if my life is already counting down? Her tears dropped silently on her wrapper, because deep inside, she feared one thing more than death, that the river goddess would take Obinna instead of her. The warnings were no longer whispers. They had become wind, broken beads, and voices from the deep. But Obinna's heart refused to fear. Every evening, he still walked towards Mama Ojiugo's compound. Every evening, Ijele waited for him, not because she wanted to disobey destiny, but because her heart needed him. But destiny does not bend because of love, and the river goddess was tired of watching. Obinna had just finished escorting Ijele home. The moon hung low, the night unusually quiet, as if the world was holding its breath. He walked alone through the small forest path that led to his father's compound.
Halfway home, the wind. Obinna stopped walking. Something was wrong. Then he heard it. Splash! A loud splash, but there was no river nearby. He looked around, confused. Another splash. Then, a wet footprint appeared on the ground, right in front of him. Then another, and another, as if someone made of water was walking toward him. Obinna stepped back. "Who is there?" he shouted, fear creeping into his voice. No answer. Only footsteps, wet, slow, coming closer. Then he heard a woman's voice, soft, slow, echoing like it came from the bottom of a deep well. "You walk too close to a world that is not yours." Obinna froze. The trees bent slightly, as if bowing to something unseen. A cold mist swirled around his legs. Then a figure formed from the mist. A tall woman, with hair flowing like water, skin shining like a wet stone, eyes glowing faint blue. Obinna gasped as his body shook uncontrollably. The river goddess. "I warned," she said calmly, "yet you continue to touch what belongs to the water." Obinna tried to speak, but no sound came out. The goddess lifted her hand. The wind tightened around his chest. "You want to love her? You want to protect her? Then let me show you what protection means." She closed her fist. Obinna collapsed, holding his chest, gasping for air. He felt his strength draining, his vision fading, his heart slowing. He thought he would die. Suddenly, a scream pierced the night. A familiar voice. "Ijele!" he whispered weakly. Ijele came running, barefoot, her wrapper barely tied. She had felt something, a pull in her chest, a sudden coldness, the voice of the river calling her again. She ran through the forest until she saw him, Obinna lying on the ground, struggling to breathe. "Obinna!" she cried, dropping beside him. The goddess turned slowly, her glowing eyes landing on Ijele. "You should not be here," the goddess said. Ijele stood up, trembling but brave. Her voice cracked as she spoke. "Please, don't hurt him. If you want someone, take me, not him." The goddess stared at her long and hard. "You defend him, a mortal boy. Have you forgotten the terms of your birth?" Ijele shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't forget, but he is kind. He is innocent. Why punish him for loving me?" The wind calmed slightly, as if the goddess was considering her words. "You are meant to return to the river," she said coldly. "He delays your destiny." "No," Ijele whispered. "He gives me a reason to live the little time I have." The goddess's eyes narrowed. "Your marks are fading. You will return soon, but if he does not leave you, he will return before you." The wind strengthened again. Ijele fell to her knees, crying, "Please, I beg you, don't take him. I will do anything you want." The goddess lowered her hand, and Obinna suddenly gasped, air returning to his lungs. He coughed violently, clutching Ijele's arm for support. The goddess looked at him one more time and said, "Your love is brave, but bravery does not change destiny. Stay away, or I will take your breath forever." With that, she dissolved into mist, and the mist sank into the ground like melting water. Silence returned. Ijele helped Obinna sit up. He was shivering, sweating, and pale. "Why did you come?" he whispered weakly. "Because I felt you. I felt your life leaving." Obinna placed his hand on hers. "Ijele, I think I am ready to die,
but I am not ready to leave you." She cried harder. "Don't say that. If you die, it will be my fault." He looked into her eyes, voice shaky. "If loving you is a sin to spirits, then let me carry that sin." Ijele covered her mouth and sobbed. The guilt was too heavy, the pain too sharp. She hugged him tightly, the kind of hug that says, "I don't know how long I have with you." But far away, 3 moon-shaped marks glowed softly on her shoulder. And as Obinna held her, one of the marks flickered. It dimmed, slowly, softly, then disappeared completely. There were now 2 marks left. Time was running out. By the next morning, news of the attack spread quickly. Obinna's father called the elders. Mama Ojiugo cried uncontrollably. Villagers whispered in fear. They finally went to see the oldest diviner in the region, a man who rarely spoke, but when he did, destiny listened. "The river child, her time is short." Everyone held their breath. "But that is not the true danger," he continued. "What is the danger?" Obinna's father asked. The diviner raised his head slowly. "The danger is this. If the girl falls in love, her spirit will want to stay on earth, and the river will come for anyone standing in her way." Mama Ojiugo covered her face in fear. Obinna clenched his fists. "What must we do?" the chief asked. The diviner whispered, "Either the boy leaves her, or the river will remove him. The goddess has started the countdown. When the last moon mark disappears, the girl will die." A heavy silence filled the hut. Love had become a race against time, and destiny was watching. The news spread faster than Harmattan fire. Obinna almost died because of Ijele. The river goddess has warned again. 2 marks remain. The child's time is ending. By the next morning, the entire village of Umuaka moved with fear. Fear of the girl who walked with the wind. Fear of the beauty that did not belong here. Fear of the goddess whose anger had now become visible. Women murmured as they passed. Men whispered suspiciously. Children pointed and ran. And for the first time in her life, Ijele felt unwanted. 2 days after the attack, Mama Ojiugo sent Ijele to the market to buy gari. As soon as she arrived, everything stopped. The akara seller folded her mat. The vegetable woman hissed and faced another direction. A young boy shouted, "Spirit child is here! Don't let her come close!" A few villagers stepped back. A woman even covered her baby and said loudly, "This is how evil enters a home." Ijele froze. Her heart broke. A deep sadness washed over her like cold water. She took a slow step forward. "No, don't come near," a man barked. "Go back home," another shouted, "before the river goddess strikes us again." Ijele's eyes filled with tears. She turned to leave, but then a stone hit her back. She gasped and staggered. Before she could turn, another stone landed beside her feet. "Leave this market," a woman screamed. "You will not destroy our peace." Ijele gripped her wrapper, head bowed, tears falling freely. She whispered, "I didn't ask to be born this way. Why can't they understand?" Then she ran until her legs ached, ran until her breath failed, ran until she reached the Udala tree, the only place that ever gave her comfort. There she collapsed and cried like a wounded bird. Obinna had been searching for her all morning. When he finally saw her under the Udala tree, he rushed to her side. "Ijele, what happened?" She looked up slowly, her face wet with tears. "Obinna, they hate me. Everyone hates me." Obinna clenched his fists in anger. "Who touched you?" "It doesn't matter," she whispered. "What matters is what the diviner said. My life is short. If you don't leave me, the goddess will kill you too. I don't want your blood on my destiny." Obinna knelt and held her hands tightly. "Listen to me," he said firmly. "I don't care what the village says. I don't care about the goddess. I don't care about Max. I care about you." Tears filled her eyes again. "Obinna, I'm afraid." "So am I," he whispered. "But fear won't stop me from loving you." Her heart trembled. For the first time, she believed him fully. That night, the river roared loudly, louder than anyone had ever heard. The villagers ran out of their huts, staring at the water in terror. The river glowed bright white. The surface rose like a breathing giant, and then a voice echoed across the entire village, deep, angry, and powerful. "The child of water is mine. The time is near, and if the boy does not leave her, he will return to me first." Roofs shook, fowls scattered, children screamed, the elders fell to their knees. Then the water exploded upward and droplets rained over the nearby huts. Wherever the droplets touched, the ground hissed like hot oil. The message was clear. This was no longer a warning. This was a countdown. That night, the elders gathered again. The chief spoke first. "This is no longer about two children. The goddess has threatened the entire village. If we do nothing, something terrible will happen." Another elder added, "The boy must stay away from her. If he continues, the goddess will kill him." Mama Ojiugo cried silently in a corner. Obinna's father rose and pointed angrily. "My son will not be forced. He loves her." An elder shook his head. "If he loves her, he must let her go. Otherwise, his death will open the door for the river to take more." The meeting lasted for hours, but the conclusion was the same. Obinna must be separated from Ijele, even if it broke both their hearts. The next morning, Obinna's father confronted him. "Son, you must stop seeing Ijele. The goddess spoke last night. This is no longer a small matter." Obinna remained silent. "Obinna, do you want to die?" his father asked, voice trembling. Obinna looked up slowly. "If death is the price for loving her, then let the spirits take me." His father staggered back in shock. But Obinna wasn't finished. "I will not abandon her, not when she needs me most." "You fool! She will bring death to this family." Obinna stepped back. "No, father. The goddess is angry because she knows something we don't. She fears something. She is hiding something, and I will not leave Ijele until I find the truth." His father stared at him helplessly. Obinna walked away from the house, away from fear, away from safety, toward the path that led to Ijele. Because he had made his choice, love over destiny, love over fear, love over life. But far away, on Ijele's shoulder, another moon mark flickered. It dimmed, then vanished slowly. Only one moon mark remained. When it fades, her life will end, and the river goddess knows it. Obinna had made his decision. He would not leave Ijele, not even if the river itself stood against him. But love does not cancel destiny. It only makes destiny louder. And the river goddess could feel her grip weakening. Only one moon mark remained on Ijele's shoulder. Time was running out. And when time runs out, truth rises from the ground like smoke. Obinna knew that if he wanted to save Ijele, He needed to understand what tied her to the river. He could not fight a goddess he didn't understand. He needed answers, and only one person in the region had those answers. Dibia Okike, the oldest seer on the eastern hills, a man people feared, a man who rarely spoke unless he saw the shadow of destiny. Obinna arrived at the seer's shrine before sunrise. The air was cold, the trees were still, a strange silence covered the ground. The old seer sat in front of his hut, grinding herbs. He didn't look up. "I have been expecting you," he said calmly. Obinna froze. "How did you know?" "When a man challenges a goddess, the wind carries his footsteps to me." Obinna swallowed hard. "I need to save Ijele. She's fading, and the goddess said—" "The goddess," the seer interrupted, "does not tell the whole truth." Obinna blinked. "What do you mean?" The seer finally looked up, his eyes glowing faint white. "Ijele is not just a river child." Obinna leaned forward, heart racing. "Then what is she?" The seer stood slowly and threw his cowries on the ground. The shells rolled, clicked, spun, and stopped. The seer's face changed. He whispered, "She is a bridge between two worlds." The seer motioned Obinna inside the hut. He pointed at an old dusty gourd hanging on the wall. "That gourd," he said, "was given to me the night Mama Ojiugo conceived." Obinna's eyes widened. "She begged the goddess for a child. Yes, the goddess gave her one, but not out of kindness." "What do you mean?" Obinna asked. The seer sighed deeply. "The goddess was weak." Obinna frowned. "Weak? A goddess?" "Yes, for many years the river's power was fading because the villagers stopped honoring her. The goddess needed a vessel, a way to plant her spirit back into the world." Obinna stepped back.
"You mean Ijele is—" The seer nodded slowly. "Ijele is the goddess's reincarnation seed, a child born with beauty strong enough to draw attention and destiny strong enough to return power to the river." Obinna felt coldness creep down his spine. "So she was never meant to live long?" "No," the seer whispered. "When her last moon mark fades, the goddess will rise again fully through her." Obinna's eyes filled with tears. "You mean Ijele will die so the goddess can grow?" "No," the seer corrected. "She will not just die, she will transform, become one with the river. The girl you know will disappear." Obinna shook his head violently. "No, no, there must be another way." The seer sighed. "There is only one path that can break the bond, but it is very dangerous." Obinna stepped closer. "Tell me." The seer looked into his eyes, voice low and serious. "To break the bond, the girl must taste the blood of true love, the blood of the one who loves her more than life." Obinna froze. "What are you saying?" The seer continued. "If you cut your palm and she drinks a drop, your love will tie her spirit to the earth." Obinna's heart pounded. But what will happen to me?" The seer looked at him with pity. "The river will come for you instead." Silence filled the hut like darkness. That night, while Obinna struggled with the truth, the river goddess appeared again. But this time, not at the river. She appeared inside Mama Ojiugo's hut. Mama Ojiugo woke up with a scream. The goddess stood in the center of the room, tall, glowing, her eyes fierce, her hair dripping water onto the mud floor. "Mortal woman," the goddess said, "the last mark is fading." Mama Ojiugo fell on her knees. Please, take me, leave my child. The goddess shook her head. You cannot replace what you did not create. Mama Ojiugo cried louder. Please, give her more time. She has already lived longer than fate allowed, the goddess replied. Then she looked toward Ijele's sleeping mat and saw something that made her anger rise. Obinna was there, sitting beside Ijele, holding her hand gently as she slept. The goddess's voice trembled with rage. He defies me again.
The hut shook. The walls vibrated. The fire died instantly. Ijele woke up in fear, clutching Obinna tightly. Obinna, she is here! The goddess raised her hand toward him, but something unexpected happened. A faint light, the last moon mark on Ijele's shoulder, glowed brightly and shielded Obinna. The goddess gasped. This should not be possible. She reached forward again, but the light grew stronger, forcing her to step back. A spirit child should not protect a mortal, yet she was doing exactly that. The goddess hissed. This bond, this love is becoming dangerous. She pointed at Ijele and whispered, when the last mark fades, I will take you and nothing will stand in my way. Then she vanished into mist. Ijele collapsed onto Obinna's chest, shaking. Obinna, I'm scared. He held her. I won't let her take you, even if I must fight the river itself. She looked into his eyes. What did the diviner tell you? Obinna hesitated, but then he whispered. He said, there is a way to keep you on earth, but the price is me. Ijele screamed softly. No, Obinna, no! I won't let you die for me! He shook his head. Maybe my life is small, but loving you is the only thing that makes it meaningful. Tears ran down Ijele's cheeks as she hugged him tightly. But far away, the last moon mark flickered. One more fade and the goddess will come, not as a warning, but as destiny.
The village of Umuaka had seen strange things before, but nothing like this. The river glowed at night. The wind carried voices. Animals avoided the stream, and every evening the sky dimmed earlier than usual. The people whispered, the last mark is feeding. When it disappears, chaos will come. We must prepare. Fear sat on the village like a heavy shadow. Even the elders did not sleep. Obinna spent the whole night sitting outside Mama Ojiugo's hut, thinking. The diviner's words replayed in his mind. If she drinks your blood, her spirit will stay on earth, but the river will come for you instead. He looked at his palm. He imagined cutting it. He imagined giving Ijele a drop. He imagined dying. But then he imagined something worse. A world without Ijele. He stood up suddenly, breathing heavily. No, he whispered to himself. She will not die. Not like this. I would rather give my life than watch her fade. He made his decision that night. A dangerous one. An irreversible one. He would do it. But he did not know that the goddess already sensed his thoughts. The next morning, Ijele woke up feeling weak. Her body felt heavy. Her breath felt shallow. Her eyes looked distant. Mama Ojiugo rushed to her. My daughter, what is wrong? I don't know, Mama, she whispered. I feel like something is pulling me, calling me. Mama Ojiugo panicked. Let me see your shoulder. Ijele removed the cloth gently. Mama Ojiugo gasped. The last moon-shaped mark, the final sign of her borrowed time, was beginning to fade at the edges.
not fast, but slowly, steadily, irreversibly. "Mama," Ijele whispered, trembling, "I think my time is close." Mama Ojiugo held her tightly, crying into her shoulder. "No, no, no, you will not die. You will not go back to that river. You are my child." But destiny does not listen to tears. That evening, the elders called an emergency meeting. The chief announced, "We must keep watch tonight. If the goddess comes, she may take more than the child."
The elders nodded. "We will guard the village entrance. We will block the path to the river. We will protect Mama Ojiugo." But even as they spoke, they knew the truth. No mortal can stop a goddess. Still they tried. Men sharpened their machetes. Women gathered firewood for protection fires. The youth stayed awake with lanterns. The entire village prepared for battle, a battle they could not win. By midnight, something terrifying happened. The river suddenly swelled without rain, without storm, without wind. It rose as if something enormous was pushing it from beneath. The water glowed faintly, and a humming sound, deep, slow, powerful, vibrated through the ground. Children cried, goats ran from their pens, fowls flew to tree branches, and the elders said, "She is coming." Obinna ran to Mama Ojiugo's hut. He found Ijele sitting weakly by the fire, wrapped in cloth, trembling as the mark faded more. He rushed to her. "Ijele, look at me." She lifted her eyes slowly. "Obinna, I don't want to die. I don't want to disappear." He knelt before her, holding her cold hands. "You won't, I promise you." She shook her head weakly. "No promise can fight destiny." Obinna cupped her face gently. "Ijele, listen to me. There is a way. You can stay, but the price—" "I know," she whispered softly. "I overheard you and the diviner." Obinna gasped. She continued, "You want to give your blood so I can stay alive." Tears ran down her cheeks. "Obinna, I can't let you do that. I cannot let you die for me." Obinna held her tightly. "If one of us must die, let it be me." She shook her head violently. "No, I choose you. I choose your life. I would rather die than watch you sacrifice yourself." He pressed his forehead against hers. "Ijele, I love you." She closed her eyes, crying silently. "Obinna, I love you too, but we can't win against a goddess." He stood up suddenly, fierce determination in his eyes. "Then let the goddess come. Let her see I am ready."
At that exact moment, a roar exploded from the river. Not water, not wind, not thunder, a roar like a creature waking from centuries of sleep. The earth trembled, the trees shook, the night sky flickered with silver light. Then, a beam of glowing water shot into the air and curved directly toward the village. It landed near Mama Ojiugo's compound with a deafening crash. Water spread across the ground, swirling like snakes, and from that swirling water, the river goddess arose. Her hair long like flowing water, her eyes burning blue, her voice echoing with ancient power. She raised her arm and pointed straight at Ijele's hut. "The last mark fades tonight. The child of water must return." The entire village screamed. But Obinna stood in front of the hut, chest lifted, hands clenched, and shouted,
If you want her, you will pass through me first." The goddess turned her deadly gaze toward him. Her lips curled into a cold smile. "Then you are ready to die." And she began to walk toward him, one slow, powerful step at a time. The night air cracked with power. The villagers hid behind trees and huts, trembling. Lanterns went off on their own, roofs rattled, the earth groaned under the weight of a goddess, and Obinna stood alone between the goddess and the girl he loved. Mama Ojiugo screamed from inside the hut, "Obinna, run!" But he didn't move. His feet were planted like the roots of an ancient tree. His eyes were filled with fear, yet also with unshakable love. The goddess stepped forward, her voice echoing through the night. "Mortal boy, you insult me. You insult destiny. You insult the river." Obinna raised his voice, though it trembled. "I insult nothing. I only protect the one I love." The villagers gasped. Love was speaking where fear dared not stand. The goddess's eyes blazed blue. "Then you have chosen your death." She lifted her hand. A swirling ball of glowing water formed in her palm, a weapon powerful enough to drown a man from the inside. Mama Ojiugo burst out of the hut, falling to her knees. "Please, goddess, please don't kill him. Take my daughter. Take me. Take—" The goddess silenced her with a sharp wave of her hand. "It is too late. The bond is formed. He has interfered too deeply." Obinna swallowed, breathing hard. "Then take me." Before the goddess could release the water strike, the hot curtain shifted. Ijele stumbled out, weak, pale, barely able to stand. The last moon mark on her shoulder glowed faintly, fading, fading, fading. She reached Obinna and clung to his arm. No, please, don't do this," she whispered weakly. Obinna held her close. "I can't let you die," she cried softly. "And I can't let you die." The goddess watched them, her expression unreadable. Then she pointed at Ijele. "Your time is finished. The last mark fades. Return to the river." Ijele shook her head violently. "No, I won't go. I'm not ready. I want to live." The goddess raised her hand higher. "You were not born to live. You were born to return." Ijele collapsed to her knees, crying in pain. "Mama, Obinna, I don't want to disappear." Mama Ojiugo rushed forward and held her daughter tightly. My child, please don't leave me." The goddess stepped closer. Obinna stood in front of them again, his heart racing, his breath shaking, his mind made up. He pulled out his small hunting knife. Everyone gasped. He lifted the knife to his palm. Ijele screamed, "No!" Obinna looked into her eyes. "If this is the only way to keep you alive, then let destiny take me." He sliced his palm. Blood pooled instantly. The river goddess roared in fury. "Stop!" But Obinna pressed his bleeding palm to Ijele's lips. "One drop," he whispered. "That is all it needs." Her eyes widened with terror. "No, Obinna, don't do this, please!" He held her gently. "Let me love you the only way destiny allows." A single tear rolled down his cheek. A tear of acceptance. A tear of love. Then, a drop of blood touched Ijele's mouth. The earth shook violently. The sky turned dark. Thunder cracked without rain. A powerful force burst from Ijele's body, throwing her backwards. The goddess screamed in rage. "You fool! Do you know what you have done?" Obinna fell to the ground, gasping. His pulse slowed, his vision blurred. Mama Ojiugo cried hysterically, "Obinna, Obinna, please wake up!" Then something unexpected happened, something the goddess did not foresee. As the blood entered Ijele's body, her fading moon mark suddenly sparked with bright white light. The goddess staggered backward, shocked. "This is impossible," she whispered. "No mortal's blood should strengthen her." Obinna coughed weakly. What is happening?" The goddess's eyes widened with realization. "You are not an ordinary boy." The villagers gasped. "What does that mean?" Mama Ojiugo cried. The goddess pointed at Obinna, her voice trembling. "He carries the spirit of a guardian, a mortal with the heart of a protector, a rare gift, a soul born once in a generation." Obinna blinked slowly, confused. I don't understand," the goddess continued. "Only a guardian can bind a spirit child to the earth. Only a guardian's blood can break the river bond." Ijele's body began to glow with the same white light. The goddess screamed, No, this cannot be!" The light spread across the ground, across the trees, across the village. It wrapped around Ijele like a cocoon. The last moon mark stopped fading. Then it began to glow brighter instead of disappearing. Mama Ojiugo cried out, "What does this mean?" The goddess hissed angrily. "It means she will not return to the river." A shocked silence fell across the village. "But," the goddess continued, her voice cold, "the price must still be paid." Everyone turned to Obinna. He lay motionless, his eyes closing. Ijele screamed from inside the glowing light, "Obinna, no!" The goddess raised her hand. "A guardian's life for a spirit child's destiny. That is the law." The light around Ijele shattered suddenly. She burst out, running toward Obinna. "Don't take him. Take me instead, please." The goddess shook her head. "You are no longer mine. Your life now belongs to the earth." She pointed her glowing hand downward toward Obinna. The killing strike began to form. The village held its breath, and just before she released it, something moved. A force strong enough to shake the ground. A force even the goddess did not expect. A force rising from beneath the earth.
The night shook like a living creature. The villagers held onto trees, onto each other, onto hope itself. The river goddess raised her glowing arm over Obinna's unconscious body, ready to take his life as the price for saving Ijele. But then, the earth beneath them cracked. A deep rumble spread across the village, slow at first, then louder, then thunderous. The goddess froze. The villagers screamed and scattered. Ijele fell to her knees beside Obinna, shaking him desperately. "Obinna! Obinna, please wake up! Please!" No response. She placed her forehead on his chest, crying like her soul was breaking. "Please don't die! Please! I can't live without you!" Her tears fell onto his chest. Then a new sound began. A sound like the beating of a distant drum, rhythmic, strong, sacred. The goddess stepped back in confusion. What power is this? The ground glowed beneath Obinna, soft white at first, then bright gold. Someone was rising from the earth beneath him. Not a monster, not a spirit of darkness, but a guardian spirit. A massive shadow of golden light lifted from the ground, the shape of a tall warrior with a staff made of pure fire. The villagers gasped and fell to their knees. Mama Ojiugo covered her mouth and sobbed. Even the goddess stepped back, eyes wide. No, this cannot be. A guardian of earth has awakened? The glowing warrior stood behind Obinna's body, towering above all. His voice echoed across the sky.
The boy is mine. He is under my covenant.
The goddess tried to speak, but her voice cracked. This mortal, he carries your seed?
The guardian spirit nodded, voice thunderous. He was born with my mark. He is not yours to take.
The goddess trembled. But he interfered with the river's child.
Because he was destined to, the guardian replied.
The goddess stepped back further. But the bond must be paid.
The guardian raised his staff.
The earth shook again.
His blood paid the price, but his life belongs to earth.
The villagers watched in awe as the goddess, for the first time, looked powerless. She lowered her gaze. He cannot live unless the river releases its claim. The guardian spirit struck his staff into the ground. A beam of golden light shot toward Ijele, wrapping her in warmth and brilliance. Her body lifted slightly from the ground. Her pale skin regained color. Her weak breath strengthened. Her eyes glowed softly. And then, the last moon mark on her shoulder disappeared completely. Not faded, not dimmed, wiped clean, gone forever. The goddess gasped. What have you done? The guardian spoke. I broke the river bond. The girl now belongs to the earth that raised her. The villagers screamed in shock. Mama Ojiugo collapsed, praising God with shaking hands. Ijele touched her shoulder slowly, trembling. I feel different. I feel alive. The goddess screamed furiously. This is not fair. She was mine. She was meant to return. The guardian faced her calmly. Destiny can be rewritten when love is strong enough. The goddess's power dimmed. She looked around at the village, at the trees, at the sky, at Ijele standing stronger than ever, and for the first time she bowed her head. So it be, she whispered. Her life is hers now. With one last wave of her hand, she dissolved into water and returned to the river. The storm ended. The night became calm. The village exhaled. Ijele crawled back to Obinna's body, shaking uncontrollably. Please, please wake up! The guardian stepped closer, lowering his staff over the boy. A single golden spark fell onto Obinna's chest. His fingers twitched. His chest rose. His eyes opened slowly. Ijele! She screamed with joy and threw her arms around him. I thought you lost you. I thought you died. He smiled weakly. I heard your voice. It brought me back. Mama Ojiugo ran to them and hugged them both. The villagers came out slowly, bowing their heads with respect. Even the elders whispered, a love strong enough to fight a goddess. We have never seen such a thing. The guardian spirit raised his staff one final time. The girl will live. The boy will live. Let the earth remember their love.
Then he sank back into the ground, his golden light fading completely. Silence. Peace. Destiny rewritten. The village of Umawaka changed forever. No one mocked Ijele again. No one feared her beauty. Her mystery became her blessing. Her presence became her light. And Obinna? He became the village's greatest hunter, protected by the spirit that claimed him. Mama Ojiugo glowed with joy. Her daughter lived. Her daughter laughed. Her daughter loved. One evening, as the sun set over the hills, Obinna and Ijele walked hand in hand to the river. The water glistened peacefully. No glow, no storm, no goddess. Just water. Ijele whispered softly. "Do you think she still watches us?" Obinna squeezed her hand gently. "Maybe she does, but she cannot take what is protected by love." Ijele smiled, a smile that carried gratitude, hope, life, and destiny. The river flowed, the wind sang, and the girl who was born from water now belonged fully to the earth, forever. And that is the story of Ijele, the seed of beauty, the child born from the river, claimed by destiny, saved by love. A story that reminds us that no matter how dark a path may be, love can still shine through, even strong enough to rewrite fate. Every blessing has a journey, every beauty carries a story, and every destiny can be challenged, but only with courage, sacrifice, and true love. This tale teaches us that no human should be judged for the mystery around their life, that fear can blind a community, but compassion can heal it, and that love is powerful enough to stand against even the gods. Above all, no destiny is too strong for a heart willing to sacrifice. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to African Tales by Ijele so you don't miss the next powerful tale. Share this story with someone who believes in love, destiny, and the mysteries of life.